Hi everyone! So today I'm doing a special kind of sketchbook tour for me, and I've been looking forward to doing this for ages. It is the end of my 100-day faces challenge, where I challenged myself to draw one face every day for 100 days, and it did take me a little bit longer than 100 days. 6 weeks actually, but who's counting? I actually counted backwards from the 31st of December, and I started on the 21st of September last year because I wanted to do it in exactly 100 days before the end of the year, but I actually finished it just yesterday, so I was a little bit behind. And we begin with an orange pencil. So the reason why I wanted to do this challenge was because I thought doing a challenge for 100 days would be pretty cool. Like saying that I've drawn something every day for 100 days would be pretty fantastic. And another reason was because, as you can see, I needed to improve my faces. When I sat down to either draw them from imagination or from reference, they never came out how I would thought they should in my head or how they were meant to. And I think that's just because my eyes and my hands weren't used to drawing them, and I didn't have a library in my head of shapes of eyes or noses or mouths. So I really wanted to kind of get that in my head. Something to fall back on. And then this is the start of Inktober. I never drawn in ink before, so Inktober was a little bit scary because I was drawing faces and I was also learning how to do ink. So I was doing two things at once. It wasn't too bad. I actually really started to enjoy it towards the end when I started to use my ink brush, the Pentel pocket brush, which was so much fun. And I think this is probably my favourite Inktober face. I just love his expression and, I don't know, his jawline. So I was doing lots of different kind of inks for Inktober. I was trying like washes and ink pen and the brush pen. Just experimenting. I even tried to do tattoos for a brief while. They didn't really turn out that well. I don't know how people can draw tattoos so flawlessly. I mean, even drawing them on paper's hard, let alone being a tattoo artist. And then I actually skipped into the Canson because I wanted to try what this paper was like using ink. And I used the Winsor & Newton India ink here, and you can see there's like some weird texture. That's because I was using tap water, and I found out later that I should have been using distilled water, otherwise it separates the ink. So I think I just did 3 faces in here, and then I skipped back. And then this was, I kind of went through little phases. So I would draw the same thing like over a few days. So these were like vintage photos that I'd found. And then later on you'll see there's lots of people wearing glasses, and then there's lots of people with short hair, or there's lots of people with freckles. So I enjoyed doing that because not only when I posted on Instagram I was like, oh look, all those freckles are together, but also I thought it was good practice towards the end when I was drawing the same angles over and over again, because by the 3rd time, even though the face was slightly different, the angle of, for example, the nose was kind of slightly the same, and you kind of just like repeating a pattern, I guess, which for me made it easier. So these are all my girls in glasses. Glasses are very difficult to draw. This is another one of my Inktober faces that I love. She looks like a little China doll. So I was really enjoying using my Pentel brush during Inktober. I loved it so much. I haven't used it since, but I'm definitely going to have to. Looking at these makes me want to use it again. So I did try some kind of crazy things, like here I tried to do those kind of really hard graphic shadows that you see sometimes in comic books. Didn't really work out. And that looks like it's the end of Inktober. So then after Inktober, I moved on to my iPad, and I was using the app Procreate, which is awesome. So I sketched out these first, and then I took them into Procreate, and I drew over them. I think I did the line work separately as well. But the reason why I drew them in here first was because I kind of thought like it wouldn't count if I did it in Procreate without drawing it in my sketchbook first. So you can see all these ladies were wearing headdresses or scarves. And after Inktober, I think I went a little bit crazy with the colour. Then I was back to pencil sketches. So I can look at some of these, and at the time I thought I was definitely improving and I was really proud of them. But now looking at this, you can see all the flaws and you know where you went wrong. And I think that's really cool, like being able to look back and see your improvement. Even though it's a little bit sad because you think, oh, I really did think that was good at the time. But I guess those are growing pains. And that's the end of that one. So I think I mainly use pencil. I probably use pencil the most out of all of them. I really love drawing in coloured pencil. And I would go through phases where I'd like draw in blue all the time, or yellow, not yellow, orange, red. This one here I really liked, and I put it on the other page because I wanted to do a watercolour, but I never got around to it. And then this is where I got my Derwent graphic line painters, which I absolutely love. I'm crazy about them. And towards the end of the sketchbook, I use them a lot. They're just so much fun. So I was using them a lot here for like really soft shadows or shading. And then this is where things really got crazy, where I was trying to experiment with using masking fluid. So I would sketch the initial face, and then I'd go over that with masking fluid on a really old brush, and then I'd paint over it and take the masking fluid off, and it looks really quite scary. It was an interesting experiment, but it didn't really turn out how I thought it would in my head, so I decided to abandon that idea. And oh, I forgot this was in here. This was one I did that no one should ever see because it looks like she is having a bit of trouble on the toilet. So after using the Derwent graphic markers and experimenting for a week or so, I decided to move back to pencil because I realised that while I was doing all of that crazy stuff and having fun with colour and things, I wasn't focusing on my original goal, which was to improve on drawing faces and getting the structure right and the proportions. So I decided to just get my hand back on, get back into the pencil. I decided to get back into the pencil. So I think I was improving, but then every now and then I'll have like a duff drawing like this one where kind of there's something not right about it, and I don't know if it's her forehead or the fact that her head looks like it's caved in. But everyone has a bad day, right? And I think after drawing that previous one, I was so annoyed about that because I could see that it hadn't improved at all, and I just felt like I was going backwards. That I really took a lot of time drawing this one. I took ages drawing this one, probably like an hour and a half, because I just kept remeasuring and looking and redrawing because I just wanted it to be correct. And I'm actually really, really proud of this one. because I think out of all of the faces I drew, it is the most real, close to real life. Apart from the fact that she's purple. And then I moved back to digital for a few days. This is the first sketch that I did, but then after that, I think I did 6 or 9. They're coming up on the screen now. Took a picture in, I sketched the initial sketches in Procreate, and then I coloured it in, did the line work. So everything was done on my iPad, and I actually thought it was a lot longer of a process than just drawing in my sketchbook, because I'm not terribly used to drawing on the iPad for the moment. I've only had it for about 6 months, and I really love using it, mainly to watch YouTube. But when I go to draw with it, I kind of feel like it's a little bit unnatural to begin with. So I think I did so many on Procreate because I was really getting into doing these kind of images where I did 2 colours, and it was super graphical and stylized, and I was just really having fun with it. But then I was like, wait a minute, April, get back to your sketchbook. You still have several pages to go. So I hopped back into my sketchbook for number 75 or 74. I'm not sure. I kept miscounting. I really hope there is 100 faces. And then this is when I had a brief flirtation with highlighter pencils. And it was really fun when I was doing them, but man, those highlighter pencils are so bright, and sometimes it was just really difficult to even draw with them because they were so crazy bright. Especially this orange here. Like, makes your eyes burn. And even though I said I was going to draw a pencil, I couldn't resist using the Derwent graphic line painters again. I think I was trying to emulate what I had done on the iPad using 2 different colours here. And I think this begins the freckles. So I love freckles and I love drawing them. They are so much fun. This is one of my favourite faces that I've drawn in the last couple of weeks. I did all of these ones, the last few leading up to the very last one, in a 4 colour lead pencil, and I was going to ink this, but I just couldn't bring myself to ink it because it was so colourful and I just loved it so much, so I left it like that. And then I started using an ink pen, this one here, Edin 1800, which I got in a scroller box a while back. So I haven't really used ink pen very much in the past, and at first I was extremely shaky and very heavy-handed. And then I got to this one and I really liked this one. I loved how I did the hair, and I was kind of like getting more control over the brush and making thin lines and thick lines. So I really started to enjoy it. And I actually did ink pen all the way up to the end. So I sketched it first with my pencil, and you can probably see here where I've erased, where that pencil doesn't erase very well. And then I would go in with the pen after, and I really loved doing the inking. And at first I hated it. I did it to improve on it, and I think I have, and also I've really come to love it, so I think I'm definitely going to have to use it more in the future. I did some boys before the end because I felt like I'd just been drawing girls. Give the boys some love. I think this one looks a bit like Nancy from Stranger Things, but it's not. And number 100. So that's number 100. I finished it yesterday, and I was looking at the first and the last and what the difference was between them. So obviously they're in a different medium and they're a different position, but I think I've definitely improved. Like even here, the eyes kind of look, everything kind of looks a little bit flat, and I think here I've kind of improved on the proportions a little bit, and I definitely love using this ink pen. So much fun. So I would definitely suggest the challenge to anyone who wants to improve. If you want to improve on drawing faces, or if you want to improve on drawing plants or animals, there's so many things out there that we all want to learn, and we want to draw all the things at once. Sometimes it's just cool taking a few days out, or in my case months, and drawing the same thing, because even though it's frustrating at times and you think, I just want to draw something else, for crying out loud, looking back and seeing the improvement and feeling like proud that you've achieved something is awesome. And you get to have like a pretty cool library of pictures that you can look back on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching that and looking through my progress. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be drawing next. Probably not a face. Probably something a little bit different. But whatever it is, I hope I see you in the next video. And thanks so much again for watching. Give it a thumbs up and all that stuff that people say if you liked it. Cool. Thanks for watching. Bye.